Daniel Sato had a routine, a simple one. Arrive at school 5 minutes before the bell. Sit at the back of the class, headphones in, eyes out the window, and speak only when called on. He didn't stand out, and he liked it that way. Most people at Sakura High only knew him as that quiet guy. No one knew that Daniel once lived in Tokyo, that he used to win art contests, that his parents had moved overseas for work and left him with an older brother who barely came home. Nobody asked, and he never offered. His world was small, built on silence and sketches. Daniel had a habit of drawing during lunch. Not cartoons, not fantasy real people, real moments. A teacher dropping her chalk. A classmate laughing when she thought no one was watching. A boy waiting in the hallway with flowers in hand, only to walk away alone. Daniel saw things others missed, but no one ever looked at him. Until she showed up. Emily Tanaka transferred in the middle of the semester loud, late, and full of energy. She walked into class like she belonged there, even though she didn't know anyone. Her desk was right in front of Daniel's. On her first day, she forgot her pencil. "Hey, quiet guy got a spare?" Daniel blinked, caught off guard. He slowly handed her a pencil without saying a word. "Thanks," she grinned, spinning around without hesitation. "I'm Emily, by the way. You can keep ignoring me if you want. I talk enough for both of us." He didn't respond, but for the first time in a long while, he smiled, just a little. Over the next few days, Emily kept talking, asking questions, commenting on the weather, the lunch menu, even the color of the teacher's tie. Daniel pretended not to care, but when she saw his sketchbook peeking out from under his notebook, she gasped. "Whoa! You drew that! That's me! Look at my nose, it's way too cute! Are you a secret genius or something?" Daniel froze. No one had ever seen his drawings before. "It's just a habit," he muttered. "It's a gift," she corrected. "And you've got a story in your head, don't you? I can tell. You're the main character who hasn't realized it yet." That stuck with him. Nobody had ever called him a main character. And for the first time since moving here, Daniel looked forward to the bell ringing not because school was over, but because it meant another day of something new. Someone new. Daniel wasn't sure when it happened when lunch stopped being quiet. When walking to class didn't feel like sleepwalking anymore. Maybe it was when Emily started leaving sticky notes on his desk with doodles and bad jokes. Or maybe it was the time she convinced him to share a cookie, even though he didn't like sweets. They were different. She lived loudly. He lived in his head, but she never treated him like he was strange. She treated him like someone worth knowing. One afternoon, it started raining just as school ended. Daniel was packing up when he noticed Emily still at her desk, scribbling something in her notebook with a weird look on her face, not her usual smile. Before he could say anything, she stood up too quickly, knocking her bag to the floor. Papers scattered everywhere. Medical forms, prescription receipts, hospital letters. She froze. Daniel helped her pick them up without saying a word. Their hands brushed. She looked up at him, eyes wide like she was waiting for him to ask. But he didn't. He just handed her the last paper and nodded. "Thanks," she said quietly, stuffing them into her bag. "You didn't see anything, right?" He hesitated, then answered, "I only see what people want to show me." The next day, she didn't come to school. Then the next, and the next. Daniel kept glancing at the empty seat in front of him, the one with the tiny sticker she'd placed on the corner, a smiling sun. The classroom felt heavier without her. He found himself wandering the halls during lunch, hoping, listening, waiting. A week passed before he saw her again outside the nurse's office, sitting on a bench, hugging her sketchbook. She looked pale, tired, but when she saw him, she smiled like she'd never left. "Hey, still drawing the world?" He sat beside her silently, then opened his notebook. On the page was a sketch of her standing in the rain, laughing, holding her notebook over her head like an umbrella. "I thought you disappeared," he said softly. She looked down, her smile fading a little. "I almost did," she whispered. Then she handed him her sketchbook. Inside, he saw her version of him, headphones on, eyes out the window, but smiling. I wanted to draw something real, she said. So I drew you. Emily didn't come back to class after that day at the nurse's office. But she left something behind. A letter folded neatly between the pages of Daniel's sketchbook. No one else knew about it. Just him. If you're reading this, it means I finally let you in. I've always smiled because I didn't want to be a burden. But you? You never asked for the truth. You just stayed. You saw me not just the noise, but the silence too. Thank you for drawing me. I felt real. It wasn't goodbye, but it felt close. Daniel stared at the empty seat in front of him every morning, watching the sticker of the sun slowly peel away. Class continued. Life continued. But something had changed. He had changed. No more hiding behind headphones. No more sketching in secret. Emily had left a space in his life, not one he wanted to fill, but one that reminded him why he started drawing in the first place. So Daniel did something bold. He signed up for the school art festival, not just to display his sketches, but to tell a story. On the day of the exhibit, his section was quiet. No bright colors, no fancy paint, just pencil sketches, dozens of them showing moments between two students. A boy and a girl, a smile, a pencil shared, rain on a window, a girl with a heart condition, a boy learning how to speak without words. At the end of the display, a blank page, and below it, I'm still drawing our story. People paused. Some stayed longer than they meant to. Teachers whispered. Students stared. But for once, Daniel didn't shrink away. As he stood there, watching, someone tapped his shoulder. It was Emily's older sister. She said Emily had moved to another city for treatment. She was doing better slowly. She also said Emily asked her to come to the festival. She told me, if there was ever a sketch with rain and sunlight in the same frame, it would be yours. Daniel didn't say anything. He didn't have to. The bell rang outside, signaling the end of the day. And this time, Daniel didn't pack up right away. He stood still, closed his eyes, and let the sound ring out like the final line of a song. The world hadn't stopped, but it was no longer silent.